We all have that one deck we love to play, but sometimes it just can't keep up anymore. In this series, we break down what's working, what's holding the deck back, and where smart upgrades can make the biggest difference. We're focusing on consistency, power, and matchups in the current meta. No rebuilding from scratch, just clean, efficient improvements. Let's tune this deck and see how far it can really go. Welcome to Deck Tuning. What's up, guys? My name is TechnoTuner, and today we're taking a look at Dark Magician for our deck tuning episode. This deck has gotten a lot of really good support that really doesn't go into Dark Magician. It just basically makes it to where you can do Dragoon Turbo for most spellcaster decks or just have a deck that has a level 6 or higher Dark Spellcaster. While it's really good overall for just a generic deck to play, I wanted to bring it today to deck tuning to discuss some of the new stuff that people are playing and some of the more wild and wacky builds that you can see, just so you have more of an idea as to what this deck can do. First up, I'm just going to state this right off the bat. I'm basing this off of a deck build that I like to play from time to time, where it's my pure Dark Magician deck profile. The Dark Magicians are a lot of fun. I find it as one of my favorite anime decks to actually play if I want to play more of a control variant. It's also just fun to play Yugi's main boss monster in the deck. But there are some fallbacks to this deck. One, if you draw into the Dark Magician, you have no way of discarding it or getting it onto the board. It can actually hurt you a lot. This is why we're playing one copy of Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic, and two Shining Sarcophagus, because this way we can get a copy of Dark Magician from our hand onto the board if we need to, or we can revive it by using Magician's Souls. Magician's Souls basically lets us send this card to the graveyard and special summon a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from our graveyard. So we can do this by sending a level 6 or higher spellcaster, aka the Dark Magician, from our deck to the graveyard, giving us that body to actually revive. But we're also playing 3 Dark Magical Circle. This way we can look at the top 3 cards of our deck, reveal one of them that is a Dark Magician or a spell and trap that mentions Dark Magician, add to your hand. Also place the remaining cards on top of your deck in any order. But the other thing is with this card, if a Dark Magician is normal summoned or special summoned, doesn't matter on the summoning case, you can target one card your opponent controls and banish it. Being able to banish for a lot of decks is a harder thing to come back from, especially if you're banishing, say, like a boss monster or something that is very integral to their decks. The other thing that I'm playing is 3 Magician's Rod and 3 Apprentice Illusion Magician. Basically, I'm trying to get as many bodies on the field so I can do other things, such as for Magician's Rod, normal summon, add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand that mentions Dark Magician. When your opponent, during your opponent's turn, if you activate a spell or trap card or affect all those cards in your graveyard, you contribute 1 spellcaster monster. Add this card to your hand. So basically, we're going to use it to search for our Dark Magical Circles, our Magician Salvations, our Secrets of Dark Magic, Soul Servant, Eternal Soul, etc. The main thing here is that you're basically using it as a searcher for a spell and trap that you can utilize. The main reason why I'm playing Apprentice Illusion Magician and not many people play it anymore is because for me, it comes down to where, okay, I need to keep a monster on board or make something big enough to OTK. Apprentice Illusion Magician is basically a good card to have in general because you can special summon this card by discarding 1 card. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Dark Magician from your deck to your hand. During damage calculation, if your other Dark Spellcaster monster battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or face up field to the graveyard. That monster you control gains 2,000 attack and defense during that damage calculation only. So, you can just boost your Dark Magician to be a 4,500 beater that can get over a Liger Dancer. The other thing is that we're also playing 3 Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice, because you can special summon this card by discarding a card, and if you do, this card's name becomes Dark Magician Girl. You can only special summon 1 Dark Magician Girl's the Magician's Apprentice once returned this way. If this card is no more special summon, you can add 1 Shining Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect, Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice, once per turn. Gains 300 attack for each monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus in the graveyards. So, it would basically, if you got down to your last one, we have 3 additional ones, giving an additional 900 attack, making a 2900 beater. That's not really the problem here. The main thing is that this is our Shining Sark Searcher, so we have that access to really get into our actual combo or get a free body on the board. The other card that I am also playing is one Timaeus, the United Dragon, being able to send a lot of spellcasters, since most of this deck is just spellcasters or spells and traps that mention Dark Magician, is a 2800 beater, and it also lets us fusion summon one fusion monster from our extra deck using monsters from our hand or field as material, which can allow us to go into a lot of wacky things from Dragoon to Timaeus, the United Magical Dragon, to Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, to just anything really, and it helps out greatly. While we're not going really into Master Chaos per se, we still have the access of being able to do a lot of different plays. Now, the other thing that I will state here is you probably are wondering why I'm playing one of the OG Dark Magician Girl and 2 Magician of Dark Illusion. Magician of Dark Illusion is just another body I can use for Magician's Navigation, because you can special summon a Dark Magician from your hand, special summon level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster monster from your deck. If you control a Dark Magician, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card, target one face-up spell, and trap your opponent controls, negates effects until the end of this turn. This helps get around Gozen and a couple other things, because there are still people that will run stun decks or anything like that that have really wacky spells. But either way, it does help get around some spells and traps that may cause you issues. The other thing I will state here is this becomes Dark Magician while on the field. It's also another level 7 body that allows you to go into your Ebon Illusion Magician to allow you to special summon a spellcaster normal monster from your hand or deck. So if you're trying to get more bodies onto the field, you can get another Dark Magician. The other one that you can do is Ebon High Magician. While this card has material, you can activate quick play spell cards or trap cards from your hand during your opponent's turn by detaching one material at card activation. If this succeeds, summon card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if the succeeds summon card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one dark spellcaster monster from your hand or deck, then you can destroy one card on the field. So, this basically gets you further accessibility and further capability to break boards, but also giving you that interaction during your opponent's turn to be like, hey, how about we slow it down? I'm going to activate this during your turn from my hand, so I don't have to really worry about it. Same way goes with the Soul Servant and stuff like that. The other thing is I'm playing one bond between teacher and student. Now, do note I did not put in the Dark Burning Magic Attack and all that as well, but I would recommend putting at least one copy of those in there, your choice on which of the ones you want to use. But since I'm playing Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, I figured why not, because this can help me get access to either a board wipe or some other capability. Illusion of Chaos is just a way for us to get to our Magician Souls, but it's also a good card in general because we can then use it to place our bricks back on top of the deck if we need to get a Dark Magician back into the deck, or we can Ritual Summon it, which can help us get a little bit further into our plays. The one last card that I do like to play is Magician's Combination. You can tribute one Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, special summon a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your hand or graveyard with a different name from the tributed monster. And if you do negate that effect, the activated effect when a card or effect is activated. So basically being able to trigger as a way to get a body on the board to trigger your Dark Magician or Magical Circle, but also get a negate on board too. So that helps a little bit further as well. The other two cards that I would cut here is probably the Dark Paladin and Master Chaos, unless you're wanting to really play those Chaos and Blackluster Ritual monsters or Buster Blader cards. I would try to swap them out for something else in general. I am playing the one Dark Magician, the Knight of Dragon Magic, because it is a fun little tech, because if your monster attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to it. or to your opponent. Once returned, when your monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. If this card is destroyed, you can special summon one Dark Magician and one Gaia the Dragon Champion from your hand, deck, extra deck, and or graveyard. So if you're running something that counts as Gaia the Dragon Champion in your extra deck, you could potentially cheat that out as well. But right now, I'm not really worried about that. The more capability that I'm looking towards is being able to set up enough to where I can interact with my opponent, set some negates or interactions, not stop them from playing really, but being able to get them low enough to where I can OTK on the next turn. Whether it be through attack damage, banishing main staple monsters, or whatnot. The one thing that I will say that I do like about this card is Secrets of Dark Magic. Fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl. Ritual summon one ritual monster from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field, including a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster. In this case is where you would play that new, or I guess older, Chaos Ritual monster, where you could play that. The other thing that you could do is play Quintet Magician. This deck would thrive using Quintet Magician because you have plenty of spellcasters to really utilize its capability in being able to get 5 bodies to be able to go into that. The other card that I would recommend playing is Magicalized Fusion, to where you can banish those 5 bodies to go into Quintet Magician, making it a lot harder for your opponent to out. But that's all that I have for this first deck list. Let's go ahead and hop right into our second one. So for our second one, we're looking at Dark Magician Primite. Well, what does this deck have to offer that is different than the prior? Well, with the Primite cards, we're looking at more capability of being able to really just get in there for further interaction and damage and all that good stuff. I will cut one of these just so it's not in red there. But basically what you're doing here is using the Primite cards to get Dark Magician on the field, but also using the effect of Primite Drill Beam to get an additional banish and negate, which can help you greatly when it comes time for your turn. The other cards that I would recommend running are things such as Timaeus or Gaze of Timaeus. The card that I would recommend if you cannot get access to Gaze of Timaeus or, of course, the Dark Magician of Destruction, because they can be a bit pricey, is the Eye of Timaeus, Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, and other generic fusions that can work, such as using Magicalized Fusion, going to Quintet Magician, because we do have a reprint of that with the Charmer Structure deck. That'll help you get a little bit further into that. So, for example, well, I could spell. But basically, you get the point. You're going into a much bigger board than you would expect with most others. The other one that I would recommend is Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight, because once returned, you can send one card from your hand or, your hand to the graveyard, target one face-up card on the field, destroy that target. It's a 2600 body, but it can help you out greatly. The other thing is that you can also run, well, can't run him, but you can run the Magician of Chaos. This card's name becomes Dark Magician while in the field or in the graveyard, so you can revive it back off of the actual Eternal Soul. You can target one card on the field, destroy it, when a spell or trap card is activated as a quick effect. If this ritual summon card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon Chaos or Blackluster Soldier ritual monster from your hand, except Magician of Chaos, ignoring its summoning conditions. So this could get you into that Blackluster Soldier package, just being able to allow you to go into your Master of Chaos, which can help you go a little bit further and get a further interaction. Or interruption, I should say. But yeah, Quintet Magician is probably the card that I would recommend for most of those other players that are looking for something that's a little bit more budget, but has the capability of just being able to nuke your opponent's board pretty easily. Because if this card is fusion summon using 5 spellcaster monsters with different names. You can destroy all cards your opponent controls. This face-up card on the field cannot be tributed, nor used as fusion material. Also cannot be destroyed by card effects. So, a 4500 attacker, making it extremely hard for your opponent to really interact with, which makes it incredibly fun to utilize and just break boards. The other thing is here, Gaze into Minus allows you to go into the fusion monster until the end of the next turn, which can actually hurt you a little bit more because you may be banishing a boss monster you want to keep around. So I don't recommend it for the newer players. If you're trying to learn Dark Magician, I would start with the Eye of Timaeus. Yes, it's a bit goofier, but it does help when you're trying to go for more of a Dark Magician themed deck, and it never really hurts just having one of in the deck, especially if you're trying to stick with more of an anime trope than a actual competitive trope. The other thing is, it's a lot cheaper. So this can help you out as well if you don't have the money for the Gaze of Timaeus or the actual Dark Magician of Destruction. Now, I didn't talk about this in the other video, but Dark Magician of Destruction is basically just a custom card for Dark Magician, which is insanely good. Must be either Fusion Summon or Special Summon from your extra deck during the turn a spell, card, or effect is activated by banishing one level 6 or higher Dark Spellcaster monster you control's material. You can only Special Summon Dark Magician of the Destruction once per turn this way, no matter which method you use. This card's name becomes Dark Magician while on the field or in the graveyard. If this card is Special Summon, you can add one Dark Magician or one card that mentions it from your deck to your hand. Once again, this card basically allows you to search for any Dark Magician card or just a Dark Magician, which can help your plays immensely. Being able to open up a lot of pathways for you to really interact with your opponent and being able to get up there in a higher state of play. Now, would I recommend this deck as a go-to for most anime players or those with a lower budget? Yes, if you cut the Dark Magician Destruction and the Gaze of Timaeus, because they are pretty decently priced. I think the last time I checked, Gaze of Timaeus was around a $40 card, and Dark Magician Destruction was about a $60 card. And please don't quote me on this. It may have changed by the time you guys are seeing this video. But if you have a copy of these, I would recommend, of course, to run these in the deck. If not, I would recommend running the Eye of Timaeus and the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, because the Dark Magician and Dragon Knight, while it's also considered Dark Magician while on the field or in the graveyard, your opponent cannot target spells or traps you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. This turns your Eternal Soul into a protection lock. Every Dark Magician in your monster zone is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. If this face-up card leaves the field, destroy all monsters your opponent control, or all monsters you control, not your opponent. You can only use the following effect of Eternal Soul once per turn. You can activate one of these effects. Special summon one Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard, add one Dark Magic attack, or 1,000 items from your deck to your hand. So if they're able to tribute over Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, you can activate Eternal Soul to revive it back, which gives you that protection lock, once again, to where they can't blow up your back row, but they also can't blow up the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, which can also trigger the Dark Magical Circle to get one banish. Once again, that is still really good nonetheless. But going back to the Primite part of this deck, incorporating the Primite cards, being able to set the Lorely Load or the Roar to be able to special summon those special summon the Dark Magicians, or get a actual body on the board, can help greatly, because this allows you to go into your fusions, your Xyz, all of that a little bit easier and a little bit sooner than you would expect. The Drill Beam being able to reset itself during your main phase. If you control a Primite monster, you can set this card from your graveyard. That helps a lot too. That's why we're running 3 of them. Or if you just control a Primite fusion monster, which you can still run with the Primite fusion, which is really insane, which is the Primite Dragon Nether Berzelius. Gains 1,000 attack for each normal monster used for its fusion summon. Negate the activated effects of monsters who your opponent controls, whose level, ranks, and link ratings are less than or equal to the number of normal monsters in your field, or on your field, or in your graveyard. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon a normal monster from your deck in defense position. So this could work as a mini boss, but also a mini skill drain for those that are looking to incorporate more normal monsters into your deck, such as, for example, if you're going against a rank 3 or lower deck, Primite Dragon Nether Berzelius can turn their effects off if you have 3 Dark Magicians in graveyard, specifically the OG Dark Magicians. So that can help you out greatly as well. The other part is you can run the Primite Howl. Declare one normal monster card name. You take no battle damage from battles involving your declared normal monsters or your Primite monsters for the rest of this turn. If you control no monsters, you can special summon one declared normal monster from your deck or graveyard. During your opponent's turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one normal monster you control, or in your graveyard, take control of one monster your opponent controls with a higher attack than that monster until the end phase. So this basically, if you were playing a link package, allows you to link it away, giving you further access to break your opponent's board as well. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.